rotational joints. Okay. One of the reasons I wore the singlet is because it actually makes it easier to see all the shoulder muscles. Okay, now, with our arms, okay, we actually have a preferred direction of movement in any of our rotational joints. Okay, so with the shoulder, it's this way. Okay, think about how we walk. Okay, we don't walk like this.
Without assistant drinks.
We're talking normal situations, Josh, not when you're stoned off your face. Okay. So, what this means is, if I can just get... Can I borrow? Sorry? Hand this over to the gentleman. Can you just point down the back? Where's the shoulder muscle attach?
Okay, now rotate that way.
The big ones, the big lifting muscles.
Oh, they're all down.
Okay, where's the attachment point, generally?
Depends on where you're looking. Depends on what you're wanting.
Just point to one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and where's the other end of the attachment?
There.
Okay, so just show how long that muscle is.
7 or 8 inches.
Okay, now, the sideways movement for this action, okay, so the attachment point is here and here.
Quite short muscle.
Okay, so yeah, that's a much shorter muscle. So essentially what we actually now have is we have big power muscles and shorter stabiliser muscles. Okay, same here in the leg. Okay, where is the leg muscle? It's all the way up here, into the bum. Okay, we actually have quite short muscles because we don't do a lot of this.
At least we're riding a horse.
Yeah, and even when you're riding a horse, it's actually,
you
still,
these right out, yeah.
when these are out, you actually still along your power muscles. Okay.
Fair point.
Okay, so, let me throw this back on. It's bloody freezing. Okay, so that's the first clue. With a rotational joint, we actually have power muscles and a restricted stabilised section. You notice that most especially in the wrist. There's our power direction. There's our restricted direction. Okay, yeah. Okay. So, we saw that with a little bit earlier. This is my power direction. Okay, where's my power direction again?
Down.
Down, okay. Down and forward. So that means I want to keep my sword moving in the direction my power muscles are aligned to. And my power muscles are aligned this way and this way. What I don't want to do is... it's really cold. Okay. One of the things... Okay, your muscles are like elastic bands. They'll do strange things. So they actually... elastic bands actually expand when they're cold and contract when they're hot. Okay. Yeah, they actually do things in reverse. It's really, really weird. Because when they get warm, they actually have the energy to constrain and pull themselves together. Okay. Yeah. And this is why you actually end up with more injury when you're cold, it's because your muscle is actually out in a stretched state, so it has less degree of movement. So, if I start drifting outside on my cut, what muscle am I now actually using to hold the sword in place? Stabilisers, correct answer. Okay. So if I'm using the stabiliser, I've gone from a power gain to less power, shorter, weaker muscle. What's this going to do for the strength of our cut?
Reduce it.
Completely. And it's also going to go, and it slows right back. See that point there where it just stopped on its own accord? Okay, whereas from here, boom, you actually cut. So, moving your shoulder, essentially on the cutting actions, you want to move through essentially what's the width of your shoulders. Okay, you want to keep your hand within the width of your shoulders. because this is where your strength and power zone is. Okay. Let's start with a... Okay, let's just get a couple of people paired up. We'll do this as a simple demonstration of the difference in the muscles. With blades? No, without blades, you don't need a blade. Just a couple of pairs. Okay. Josh, push your hands straight out. Okay, push back. Okay. It's very, very easy. Okay. Which muscles is he engaging?
Forearms.
Yeah. Okay, turn out like this. Okay, which muscles is he engaging?
Chest.
And he stabilisers, yeah. Try and stop. Okay. Just a bunch of it, just try that. You'll actually feel the difference between the weak power muscles and your stabilisers.
Yeah, I was going to suggest some of them start moving down the bottom. It's nice weather down there.
Yeah, it's nice weather as well. Doesn't have to be very much, just a quick try, get the feel for it.
No way, he's talking. That's very
Yeah, but notice how it actually pulls Once it's on the ground, just leave it there. This can't fall any further. That's right.
I'm deliberately not arguing.
Yes, there's also actually...
Okay, guys.
Because it is beginning.
Okay, now,
That's right.
go back to the straight forward. Okay, so arms straight forward. Okay, now, they're pushing, they're pushing, they're pushing. Just push your hands out.
You're an everybody.
Okay. No, it's not a Renaissance headbutt, it's the difference of power muscles, but this action is actually, you're actually pushing against the stabilisers. The stabilisers couldn't support you. Okay, so the stabilisers are a stabilising muscle, they're not actually a big, heavy working muscle. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's issue number one.
The problem is, two hinges aren't going to work against that,
Yeah, there is
and
that.
that's what you've got.
Okay. The wrist. Remember we talked about the wrist? Okay, the wrist is not a ball and socket joint as much as we'd like it to be. Okay, so it has one really good free direction of movement and one constrained direction of movement. Okay. Now this is where some of the injuries have happened with the way some people try to parry. And I'll show a couple of examples. Okay. My friend here, with the sword in hand, thrusts at me. I'll try and do that. Okay, now I can do that because he has a weak movement from there. Now, if this is a clever man, which I suspect he would, and he turns his hand into fourth, that's second.
Sorry, big pun.
Okay, all of a sudden, notice how there's much less movement here? So what we're actually doing is we're actually using the constrained movement of the wrist to support the action. Okay, so this is something to think about with the wrist. Now, if I try and push through, and he actually takes the parry on me, and I keep trying to push, okay, it's not going to happen.
You break it, you buy it, you take it home.
Yeah, it looks really funny, but how many people have actually seen that happen in tournaments?
Against me.
Okay, so this is something to be aware of. You actually see it a lot in the disarms, the wrestling section, where just extend out. Okay.
That works every time.
So it's there, turning, and then now we're actually working against. Okay, we've got to the point where he has no more freedom of movement one way, and it's now constrained, and we're also working against hinges. Okay. But yeah, but this is some of the things that actually happens to people, is they actually try and use the big degree, and this is sort of like opposite to the shoulder. This is our strength alignment, and this is our stabilising alignment on the wrist. Okay. Yes, Greg?
For some of these actions, certainly with trying to push back that one, noticing there, I wasn't actually sure whether or not I was weaker, or I was just feeling like if I actually applied enough force to stop him, I'd hurt myself. How much of this is your self-protection mechanism, and how much of it is actually that you don't know?
It's, what it was basically trying to show was you could actually feel the difference between strong and weak.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I was trying to show you there.
Is
To show that one is strong and one is weak.
It'd be a stronger grip and more damage, more chance of damaging my wrist if I don't let go with my fingers.
Yeah. I mean, is it?
But a lot of it was also it was quite glitchy.
Well, if you're attempting to hold back the sort of 740 bus, okay, you might have a very strong muscle, but it's not going to hold the bus back, and you will hurt yourself if you try.
Yeah.
So your weak muscles are saying, look, the strong ones can't hold back a 740 bus, and I can't hold back a sort of 10-stone guy, get off me.
True.
Okay, so that's some of the issues that comes out of our rotational joints.